All right, welcome back, everybody. This is Bruce with the Epic Experiment in Garbage or Great, and we are back another week, another deck tech. This one I'm pretty excited about, if only because it's brand spanking new, and I'm pretty excited to have brewed it. If you tuned into the channel last week, I didn't really do a deck tech so much as I talked about some of my brewing processes, and I was really excited this week to finish this one, which was on the table last week. So we are looking at Sanar Unfinished Genius. So this is an Izzet commander, so a blue and a red for a 0/4. Legendary creature, Goblin Sorcerer. And then Sanar enters prepared. Tap, create a treasure token, activate only if you've cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn. And then the prepared half of it is 3 blue red for a spell called Wild Idea. Search your library for an instant or sorcery card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. I kind of like this commander for the simple reason that this ability to tap it and then make a treasure allows you to ramp. It's not going to scare anybody, and so I'm imagining it's coming down on turn 2 almost every turn. When I played this in Brawl, that is exactly the play pattern, and not a lot of people remove it. If you can start to tap and untap with it and get treasure tokens, then you're very quickly going to find yourself ramping ahead of your opponent and without having a Sol Ring or an Arcane Signet or anything else. So, it's kind of a neat mechanic. To tie along with it, I've got this Sky Coach Waypoint, which is, I don't usually highlight the lands, but I like this one. So this is a land that taps for colors, put 3 in a tap, target creature becomes prepared. So, if you can use Sanar's ability to cast a Wild Idea to tutor up an instant or sorcery from your deck somewhere, you could then re-prepare Sanar without it leaving the battlefield, which I feel has potential. I don't know if it's good enough yet, but it has potential. All right, let's talk our way through the list, see where everybody's going. This is a kind of fun one, kind of budgety friendly deck, so let's talk about it. All right, so here in the ramp package, it's actually a little bit weird because Sanar actually fits in a ramp piece, but we have a Fire Diamond. So 2 to tap, 2, and an artifact, Fire Diamond, enters the battlefield tapped. Make a red mana. Mind Stone, 2, tap, add 1 mana of any color, place it as a mana source. 1, tap, sacrifice Mind Stone, draw a card. All right, then Thought Vessel, 2, as an artifact, you have no maximum hand size, tap to add a colorless. And then we've got a few other pieces. We have a Resonating Loot, which is a new one from Secrets of Strixhaven, so 2 blue red for an artifact. Lands you control have tap, add 2 mana of any one color, spend this mana only cast instants and sorceries, which is exactly what this deck wants to do. And tap, draw a card, activate only if you have 7 or more cards in your hand. So this is kind of like a Library of Alexandria type effect. It's pretty cool. I'd have never used it for that ability. I've always used it for the land ramp doubler. And then we have a Stormkiln Artist, so every time you cast an instant or sorcery, you get a treasure. And when you make treasure, you have Xorn. So when Sanar or Stormkiln Artists start making treasures, you make an extra one, which is super good. So it's kind of an unusual ramp package because of the fact that you're not really playing the Sol Ring. I don't think I need Sol Ring in this list, and yes, I'm aware every deck could be better with a Sol Ring, but I wanted to try and build a deck without the obvious inclusion of a Sol Ring. Now, let's talk about how I want to trigger Sanar to make sure that I can get my treasure token each and every turn. All right, we've got a whole bunch of things here. So we have a Ponder. So this is going to be a single blue for a sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards, put one of them put them back in any order, and then draw a card. We have Sleight of Hand. Look at the top 2 cards, put one of them onto your hand, the other on the bottom. We have Serum Visions. Sorcery, draw a card, then scry 2. We have an Essence Scatter. Target creature spell. We have the other half of that one. We have Negate. 1 in a blue, counter target non-creature spell. We have an Abrade. 1 in a red, deal 3 damage to target creature or destroy target artifact. I've got a Vibrant Outburst. A blue and a red. Vibrant Outburst deals 3 damage to any target. Tap up to 1 target creature. I kind of like this one because of the fact you can go to someone's face if you need to, which is we'll see about why I want that a little later. Prismari Charm, blue and a red, choose 1. It's an instant, surveil 2, then draw a card. Prismari Charm deals 1 damage to each of 1 or 2 targets, and then return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. I have usually used this as a bounce effect, but you could use it as a draw effect if you needed to. Chain Lightning. Lightning Bolt. Faithless Looting. So single red, draw 2, then discard 2, and you can flash it back. Vapor Snag. Single blue, return target creature to its owner's hand is controlled, loses 1 life. Opt. Scry 1, draw a card. Preordain. Blue for sorcery, scry 2, then draw a card. We've got Reach Through Mist. Single blue for instant. It's an arcane spell. Draw a card. This is going to get subbed out for Birthday Escape, but right now that's what I've got in this spot. Expressive Iteration. Blue and a red for a sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand. Put one of them in the bottom of your library. Put one of them into exile. Then you may play the exile card this turn. That's a very good card. Just Thrill of Possibility. 1 and a red. Instant. As additional cost to cast a spell, discard a card. You have Highway Robbery. 1 and a red for a sorcery. You may discard a card or sacrifice a land. If you do, draw 2, and you can plot it for 1 and a red. And then we have Rapturous Moment. 4 red, blue for a sorcery. Draw 3 cards and discard 2 cards, and add blue, blue, red, red, red. Okay, so we are going to. So all those instant sorceries are ways for us to trigger Sanar, so we can get our treasure token and get going. We got some other payoffs as well too. So we've got some things like Murmuring Mystic. So this is 3 and a blue. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, create a 1/1 bird. Saheeli, and then 1 and a is it for a 5 loyalty planeswalker. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 servo artifact creature token. Young Pyromancer, 1 and a red. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a 1/1 red elemental creature token onto the battlefield. And then we have Third Path Iconoclast, blue and a red. Blue and a red for a 2/1. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 colors soldier artifact creature token. So with all those instant sorceries, you're going to be able to trigger some of those, put things onto the battlefield to be able to block, protect you, and help you get to the late game. Right? Then we've got some ways to help pay some other payoffs for our spells. We've got Abstract Paint Mage. So this is a blue, and then an Izzet, and then a red for a 2/2 Djinn Sorcerer. At the beginning of your first main phase, add a blue and a red. Spend this mana only to cast instants and sorceries. So it's going to help pay the cost for my instants and sorceries. We have a Goblin Electromancer. So instants and sorceries, spells you cast cost 1 less. Stormcatch Mentor has the same text on it, but it also has haste and prowess. We have Primal Amulet. So this one is going to be instant and sorcery spells you cast that cost 1 less to cast. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a charge counter on Primal Amulet. Then if there are 4 or more charge counters on it, you remove those counters and transform it, and it transforms into a pretty cool land, Primal Wellspring. So tap to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Then when mana is spent to cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy that spell, and you may choose new targets for the copy. I like this card. I have never successfully transformed it, and I would very much like to try and do so, so we're going to try and get there. We've got an Archmage of Runes, so 3 blue blue for a 3/6 Giant Wizard. Instant sorcery spells cost 1 less to cast. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, draw a card. And then we have Archmage of Emeritus, 2 blue blue. It is a 2/2 with Magecraft. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, draw a card. Okay. Now, last but not least, with all those instances of sorceries, we have some payoffs that are going to help us along the way. So let's talk about it. So start with Gutter Snipe. Gutter Snipe, 2 and a red for a 2/2. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Gutter Snipe deals 2 damage to each opponent. Fiery Inscription, 2 and a red. When it enters the battlefield, the ring tempts you. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Fiery Inscription deals 2 damage to each opponent. You see a pattern. Electrostatic Field, 1 and a red for a 0/4 with Defender. It's a wall. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Electrostatic Field deals 1 damage to each opponent. Okay. We have a Firebrand Archer. We have whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Firebrand Archer deals 1 damage to each opponent. Then we have a couple of planeswalkers. We have Ral, Storm Conduit, so 2 blue red for a 4 loyalty planeswalker. As a static piece of text, whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, Ral Storm Counter deals 1 damage to target opponent or planeswalker. +2, scry 1. -2, whenever you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Cool. And then Ral is at Viceroy. So 3 blue, red for a 5 loyalty planeswalker. +1, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. -3, Ral is a Viceroy, deals damage to target creature equal to the number of instant or sorcery cards you own in exile and in your graveyard. And then -8, you get an emblem. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, this emblem deals 4 damage to any target and you draw 2 cards. All right, now all those interesting little doohickeys there that cast and do damage trigger really well with these 2 guys. So we have a Niv Mizzet Perrin and a Niv Mizzet Visionary. So Niv Mizzet Perrin, so blue, 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 red, 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 5/5 legendary creature dragon. This spell can't be countered. Flying. Whenever you draw a card, Niv Mizzet deals 1 damage to any target. Whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell, you draw a card. So any of those instant or sorceries get cast, Niv Mizzet sees it, pings their opponent, draws me a card. It's pretty amazing. Niv Mizzet Visionary, for its part, 4, a blue, and a red for a 5 loyalty for a 5/5 flying dragon. You have no maximum hand size. Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, you draw that many cards. So Niv Mizzet or the Gutter Snipe or the Fiery Inscription or any of these other things start pinging our opponents off, then we get to draw cards, which is amazing. The other thing we can do is we can lean into these effects: Curiosity and Tandem's Lookout. So those Curiosity says, whenever an enchanted creature deals damage to an opponent, you may draw a card. All right, so what ends up happening is that, Niv Mizzet Perrin and Curiosity are a 2-card combo, whereby when you deal a damage, you draw a card. Whenever you draw a card, you deal a damage, and so they go back and forth. And you can literally combo out your opponents that way. Or you can do it with Tandem Lookout if you need to. It says Soul Bond. As long as Tandem's Lookout is paired with another creature, each of those creatures have, whenever this creature deals damage to an opponent, draw a card. Same thing happens. You draw a card, you deal a damage, you deal a damage, you draw a card, and you keep going till they are all dead. It is pretty cool. It is what pushes this into a bracket 3, because you do have a 2-card combo. Now, it is, at its essence, at the very minimum, it is a 7-mana 2-card combo that is, and I have no tutors for creatures or for enchantments. So it feels very fair. If I draw into it, perfect. But if I don't, well then we have a bit of an issue, don't we? So that's the combo line. Let's talk about what else is in this list. So we've got some other cool tricks. So we have Backdraft Hellkite. So 3 red, red for a 4/4 flying dragon. Whenever Backdraft Hellkite attacks, each instant sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn. The flashback cost is equal to its mana cost. I've wanted to play this one for ages. I think it's a pretty cool card. I don't think it's great, and I'd be prepared to cut it if there was something better to put in. But I love the idea of giving something in my graveyard flashback. I'm really excited about that, so I really want to do it. Ireth of the Healing House. So 2 and a blue for a 1/4 legendary creature, human cleric. Tap to untap another permanent. Tap to untap 2 other legendary permanents or legendary creatures. So this allows us to untap Sanar and then use it again to make more treasures. So seems good to me. We have Molten Core Maestro, 1 and a red for a 2/2 with Menace as a Goblin Bard. With Opus, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. If 5 more mana was spent to cast that spell, add an amount of red equal to this creature's power. So you can get into building, a bomb that's going to make you a bunch of red mana. Then we have Blazing Firesinger, 2 and a red for a 2/3. This enters prepared. And then Seething Song, 2 and a red, make 5 red mana. So I like this idea of making the prepared side be Seething Song, and then maybe we can copy it, or we can do something pretty gross with all that red mana. Thing in the Ice, 1 and a blue for a 0/4 defender. This creature enters with 4 ice counters on it. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, remove an ice counter from this creature. Then if it has no more ice counters on it, transform it. And it turns into something big and scary. It turns into Awoken Horror, which is a 7/8. When this creature transforms into Awoken Horror, return all non-horror creatures to their owner's hands. which probably means you're wiping the table of it all. I've wanted to play that card for ages too, and I finally get an opportunity to do so. We have an Emeritus of Conflict. So 1 in a red for a 2/2 with first strike. It's a human wizard. Whenever you cast your third spell each turn, this creature becomes prepared. And the spell it prepares is a lightning bolt. So this one feels like if there's a deck that can play this, this is the sort of deck that can make use of it, because I'm going to cast a whole bunch of cheap cantrips, draw a bunch of cards, and put this prepared, and then I'm looking to keep going and deal non-combat damage. Inspired Sky Painter. Blue and a red for a 2/2 lizard wizard with flying. Lizard wizard. Ha! Look at that. When this creature enters, and whenever one or more creature tokens you control deal combat damage to a player, this creature becomes prepared. 3 blue red sorcery called Maestro's Gift. Create a token that's a copy of target creature you control. That token gains haste until end of turn. I don't know what I'm going to do with that other half of that thing, but it seems cool to me. We have Crom, Violent Cacophony, 2 blue red for a 2/3 legendary creature zombie horror with flying. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Crom, Violent Cacophony, and draw a card. Since I'm looking to do lots of that, I will expect I will draw lots of cards. And then we have Mika, Reader of Ruins, 3 and a red for a 4/4 legendary creature, human artificer with ward, pay 3 life. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you must sacrifice an artifact. You may sacrifice an artifact. If you do, copy that spell, and you may choose new targets for the copy. Since Sanar is making treasure tokens, I should be able to have something that I can then use to sacrifice for Mika to go and copy my spell. All right, I don't know. We're going to see if it works, but I think it seems like a pretty cool idea. And then we have the Sword of Once and Future. 3 for an artifact equipment with equip 2. Equipped creature has +2/+2 and protection from blue and from black. Whenever an equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, Surveil 2. Then you may cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that spell will be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. So that's going to allow me to recast the Ponder or the Lightning Bolt or something in my graveyard and get good value from it. Let's talk about the other big things we're going to cast, because we had some things that talked about casting some big stuff. So we have Finale of Revelation. So this is X blue for a sorcery. Draw X cards. If X is 10 or more, instead shuffle your graveyard into your hand, draw X cards, untap up to 5 lands, and you have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. Exile Finale of Revelation. This seems like a card that I want to play, and we'll see if we can get there or not. Blue Sun Zenith. So blue X is for an instant. Target player draws X cards, shuffle Blue Sun Zenith back into its owner's library. I like this because the other half of Sanar will go get the Blue Sun Zenith, and if you really get particularly spicy, you can use this on your opponent to draw them out of the game if the game has gone particularly long. It's like a very corner scenario. Usually I'm casting a Blue Sun Zenith for 4 or 5 mana at myself to draw some cards. It goes back into my library, and I can use it again. Seems good. We have a Mana Geyser. So 3 red for a sorcery. Add red for each tapped land your opponents control. This card is dumb, and it is super good if you can resolve it. Splatter Technique. So 1 blue red for a sorcery. Choose 1. Draw 4 cards. Splatter Technique deals 4 damage to each creature and planeswalker. Cool. I like that. We have a Brass's Bounty. So 6 and a red for a sorcery. For each land you control, create a colorless treasure token, artifact creature token, artifact token, treasure artifact token. Boy, I can't talk. And then tap, sacrifice, add 1 mana. So make a treasure. Cool. For each land. Magma Opus. So 6 blue for a instant. Magma Opus deals 4 damage divided as you choose when any other targets. Tap 2 permanents. Create a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. Draw 2 cards. And you can discard it for is it discard Magma Opus, create a treasure token. So if you need to ramp, you can go and get it. You put it back in your graveyard, and then maybe the backdraft elemental gets you it back. Dig Through Time. So we have 6 blue with Delve. It's an instant, and it says, look at the top 7 of your cards, put 2 of them into your hand, and the rest of the bottom of your library. That seems good to me. And then last but not least, we have Echo Casting Symposium. 4 blue for a lesson. It says target player creates a token that's a copy of target creature you control. And it's Paradigm, meaning you cast it on your upkeep each turn. Well, with all those fancy spells and all those cheap ones in our hand, Thousand Year Storm looks to be just about the ticket. So I'm sort of imagining an environment where I cast, let's say I cast the Through the Mists, draw a card. I cast the Seething Song off that the prepared creature, and then maybe I cast 2 more spells, and so I've spent a grand total of 4 or 5 mana, and I then can go and stick something big and scary from among this slot. Let's say I call the Splatter Technique because I've got some treasure tokens lying around. I got some stuff, and I go and basically storm off with it and get 4 or 5 copies of Splatter Technique. I will draw more than enough cards to go ham. Or you have enough to go and cast Brass's Bounty, and you make a bajillion treasure tokens to power through your deck. There's lots of potential here, and I really would like to make Thousand Year Storm work, make it something that because I keep trying it and putting in decks, and I've never had to really pop off, and I think this is probably the closest it's going to be able to get to being something that's really meaningful in the Commander format. Now, power level of this deck. This is going to be, it has to play at a bracket 3 because it does have a 2-card combo. All right, the Niv-Mizzets or the Niv-Mizzet and Curiosity, it is a 2-card combo. Like I said, I have no way to tutor up the creature. I have no way to tutor up the enchantment, right? So I'm not worried about making somebody feel bad if I say I do have a 2-card combo in my deck. Because if I draw it, cool, that's amazing. But I will have to be honest with whoever I'm playing that I do have a 2-card combo, and that technically puts me in bracket 3. Now, price point on this deck is about $150. So it's really quite budget friendly. You can put it together without too much difficulty. Because it's 2 colors, you can get away with a lot more basics than you can if you were playing, another color combination of 3 or 4 color. It means you have a lot more non-basics to make you hit your pips. But with us today, we are playing a lot of basic lands and a couple of, dual lands that do some different things. But that helps keep the cost way down. All right. So, but $150 gets you in the door and doing something fun and pretty cool with a pretty fun little commander in Sanar. All right. Now, the deck list is down below. You can go check it out. If you see it for yourself, it's in the description. Our social media is also in the description. Check it out by all means. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff. And, of course, the podcast, got a link down there, too, so you can go check it out and go and see for yourself what we talk about each and every week. We're doing some stuff about Cube. We're going to be getting another episode done this week and uploaded, but, you stay tuned. We got more coming down the pipe for that as well. All right. That's me. That's everything I got tonight. So you guys have yourself a good night. We'll talk to you again soon. Talk to you soon. Bye. Peace.